Cigarette ads promise a smooth, rich taste. Well, how tasty could 4,000 chemicals be? Especially if 50 of them are known to cause cancer and 200 of them are deadly poisons. Here are just a few of the highlights from tobacco's death list.
Formaldehyde. I can't even pronounce it.
Ooh, that's nasty.
Propylene glycol. I don't know.
What's called antifreeze.
Yeah, antifreeze.
They don't even let dogs around.
I know.
Arsenic. That's what it is.
Yeah, rat poison.
Rat poison.
Plutonium-210.
Plutonium-210.
Used to make
nuclear bombs. What? In a cigarette?
Let me ask you a question. If you know how hard it was to quit smoking, would you even start? I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. And when I finally quit, I got a glimpse of what a junkie's life must be like. Most teen smokers think they won't be smoking 5 years from now. Well, guess what? They will be. Tobacco is just like any other drug. It's a habit that takes your money, your health, your looks, and eventually your life. Smoking, truth or dare? The truth is, the dare will kill you.
Hey! I need my nicotine, right now! Nicotine? Nicotine's nicotine. You all know what nicotine is? Yep, nicotine is a drug. It's in cigarettes.
Once a researcher for cigarette giant Philip Morris, Victor DeNoble now travels the country telling teens the truth about tobacco and addiction.
You never seen a brain before?
No.
Are you kidding me? This is a person's brain. This is a person's half a brain, actually. It sits in your head like this. Here you have a substance biologically active, nicotine. We know it goes into the brain. We know it binds to certain things. It latches on to your brain structures and it induces chemical changes in your brain. So does cocaine, so does alcohol, so does heroin. So why is this any different than that? It's not. Call it addiction, call it dependence, call it a habit, I don't care what you call it, okay? Basically, you're drugging a person's brain. A cigarette is not a cigarette. A cigarette is 6, 8, or 10 unit doses of nicotine. So if you smoke 10 cigarettes a day, 10 cigarettes is 80 brain injections. So this is not something that's easy to quit. The kids that say they're gonna quit in 5 years have not quit.
Supermodel Christy Turlington knows all too well the addictive powers of nicotine. Today, she's volunteered to make a very personal anti-smoking commercial for the Centers for Disease Control.
Well, I started smoking around 13 years old. I think the reason I started smoking was probably because my father smoked, my whole, upbringing. He was sort of the person that I modeled myself after, and I looked up to him in a lot of ways. And he was sort of a, very good-looking man. Led this sort of very free lifestyle, and he smoked.
Quiet, thanks.
In my life, there are 2 people in my family who quit smoking. Me and my dad. For me, it took 7 years. When I finally did quit for good, I knew it was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. My dad, it was different for him. He stopped December 1996. Six months before he died from lung cancer.
I don't want to die a painful death. I want to live as long as I can healthy and do what I want to do for as long as I can. And if I knew...
These chances are there, but why is it a big deal that teens smoke? I mean, I have had tons of friends die in car accidents and being shot, et cetera, and they didn't even pick up a cigarette.
Got a little bit faster. Sometimes when I talk to kids, they say, well, you've got to die sometime, everybody's got to go some way. I could walk outside of my house tomorrow and be hit by a truck. I'd pick the truck.
Pam Lathan is only 28 years old.
A truck kills you instantly. Emphysema kills you slowly for 20 years. So it's not the dead part that's the bad thing, it's the dying. Shannon's 17, she's my cousin. She started smoking around the time that I was diagnosed with emphysema. And I worry about her.
think I can go 3.5 hours without smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
No way. They smoke all throughout that movie.
I wish we had a ramp. First, I developed bronchitis. I was 21. This doctor showed me a chart and just told me all these technical terms, and I said, big deal. I laughed and I said, so I'll quit smoking when I get emphysema because, you know, then I'll be on oxygen, I'll have to. I was diagnosed with emphysema when I was 24. The only reason that they could find was because that I had smoked. When I said I was definitely going to quit smoking, they started to talk about lung transplant. But then when I did have my transplant, my appearance changed drastically. I woke up one morning and my face had doubled in size overnight. And I ended up gaining a lot of weight and losing all of my self-esteem and losing all of my friends. The doctors talked about a 40% chance of making it through the first year and 60% chance of making it past 5 years. I thought, I'll be the exception. And I thought that right up until the day that I got sick this past October.
Despite some of the best medical care in the world, Pam's body is rejecting her transplanted lung. Shannon provides moral support as Pam undergoes tests to monitor her condition.
Emphysema is like holding your breath all the time. It's one of the most frightening things I think I've ever experienced.
Breath out. Just keep going, relax.
I live my life like a person at least twice my age.
2 days later, Pam undergoes a bronchoscopy. It's a procedure she's been dreading. The results of the test will tell if her lung can still keep her alive.
I live, I think, month to month, you know, or even I can look forward to next year, but I really can't look at 5 years or 10 years.
3 days later, the test results are in. Pam and Shannon ride to the hospital where the doctor has requested a private meeting.
I've been thinking about it. It just makes me nervous whenever I light a cigarette. I think twice. I'm just like, okay, it makes me scared.
It takes a long time sometimes before you get sick, but then when you're sick in an instant.
Pam receives the news behind closed doors.
All attempts so far to stop the rejection have failed. So, as we try this new one now, my kids knew I was coming today to get the results from the biopsy, so when I go home and when I see them, they're gonna ask me. I have to give them bad news. I'm so sorry, I thought the results were gonna be good today.
I lost the way I looked. I lost my youth. I lost friends, my career plans. I lost any hope for a normal life. If I could have looked into a crystal ball at 10 and seen what my life was going to be like 18 years later, I know that I wouldn't have smoked.
I guess I can just sit here and wait for the kids to come home.
After seeing the damage that cigarettes are doing to their bodies today, and then looking at their future in the faces of those who stopped smoking too late, all of the teenagers we met this hour have chosen to quit. But quitting isn't easy, and anyone who thinks it is kidding themselves. It takes the desire to be free from an addiction that steals your looks, your money, and your life. Smoking, truth or dare? The truth is, smoking kills more Americans every year than AIDS, drug abuse, car accidents, and murder combined. The truth is, smoking isn't cool. Not for you, your friends, or your parents. It's not cool for anyone. I'm Lisa Gibbons.
It's the cool thing to do.
It makes me look sexy.
It's according to
I smoke to look cool and be more mature.